Hello?
Stanley Howard calling.
Hi, Stanley. It's Lily Hughes in Austin.
Excuse me?
This is Lily in Austin. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Hello, Lily.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, fine, fine. Still going up and down.
Yeah.
Am I too early, too late?
Oh, no, you're right on time. In fact, you're already on speakerphone. Let me just ask these guys if they can hear you. Can you guys?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good? Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right, well, so Stanley, I think Michelle told you, but what you're calling into today is a gathering called Anti-Death Penalty Alternative Spring Break. And it gathers students, both college and high school. I don't know where everybody's from. Sorry, guys, I came in late. From all over to learn about the death penalty and learn about strategies and tactics to fight the death penalty. So that's who you're talking to. It's a group of, I'd say, about 30 people. And if you had something prepared, you could go with that, or we could just do questions.
No, I don't have anything prepared, but I can tell my story in hopes that I could give someone a better picture of what the death penalty is really like.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Why don't you start? We'll start there.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Stanley Howard. I am a 47-year-old black man here in Illinois. I have been incarcerated going on 26 years now. I was arrested 3 days before my 22nd birthday. So in actuality, I've been incarcerated longer than I've actually been out on the streets. Back in November of 1984, I was arrested for the May 20th murder that occurred in Chicago. This murder occurred where this guy had walked up to a car and asked for a light. When the perpetrator said he didn't have a light, the victim said that, the perpetrator asked for a light, and when the victim said he didn't have a light, the perpetrator allegedly shot this guy who was sitting in the car with his girlfriend and ran off. I was arrested 5 or 6 months later on an unsolved case. And these officers wanted some information concerning this murder. I guess they wanted to try to put as many cases as they can on me. But something occurred that night that wasn't expected. These officers wanted me to confess not only to this murder, but to a host of other crimes, which I refused to do so. But these officers came on the side of me with this plastic bag, and he put it over my head and started strangling, choking, and suffocating me with it. All the while he was doing this, these other 2 officers was punching and kicking on me. When he pulled the plastic bag off, I was knocked out. They started slapping on me, trying to wake me up. When I came to, these officers continued to beat, punch, and kick on me, trying to get me to confess to a murder I didn't commit. After doing this for hours and hours, I finally succumbed to what they wanted me to do. I kind of figured that it was okay for me to confess to the crime now and have a judge to understand what happened to me later than to have these officers kill me at this police station. So I ended up confessing to a murder that I didn't commit. This confession was used in part along with the testimony of the victim that was in the car with the other victim. She said when she identified me at the lineup, she said that I looked like the guy that shot and killed the guy. But when she came to trial, she said that she was 100% positive that I was the guy who shot and killed Oliver Richdale. Mind you, it was her story that got me convicted. It was her story that the station attorney's office used as the theory that happened with this, how this murder happened. Again, someone walked up to this car and asked the victim for a light. Once the victim said that he didn't have a light, she said that the perpetrator shot this guy and ran off. take my case after I was convicted and after I was on death row. Come to find out later that this woman who identified me would say I look like the guy. She was sitting in the car with her boyfriend, and she was married, and he was married, but they were sitting out in front of her house, or 2 houses from her house. Now, I can't say it was her husband, but witnesses who we uncovered said that the testimony that that woman gave, this murder occurred within 10 seconds. All the witnesses that we found, at least 7 of them, said that the murder didn't occur like that. Said that these people was out in front of their house arguing for almost like 10 minutes before the shot was even fired. And even after the shot was fired, she was still talking to the perpetrator who fired the shot. So she know who actually committed the crime. She claimed that she didn't know me. But it doesn't end there. When I got to death row, I realized that I wasn't the only guy that was there that was tortured by these same cops. There was 10 other guys that was there with me who claimed that they was also tortured by these cops. And come to find out later that the city of Chicago knew about it also. I started calling myself the Death Row 10. I wrote to the campaign in the death penalty, asking for help. I wrote to our congressmen, I wrote to our senators, I wrote to many newspaper outlets, I wrote to everybody that I could think of asking for help. No one was willing to help me with this idea of putting pressure on the state of Illinois not to execute us based on these confessions. No one was willing to help me but the campaign to end the death penalty. Through them, we was able to start holding meetings and protests and demonstrations. We was lucky enough to get enough attention that people actually started to wonder, wait a minute, should we actually be trying to execute these guys and based on the confession that we know that was tortured? Some of these other guys received far worse torture than me. They had this black generator box that had wires on it where these guys was putting these wires to guys' testicles, to their tongues, to other parts of their bodies that shoot this electricity in their body to get them to confess. They also use electric to shoot electricity into these guys' bodies to get them to confess. They play Russian roulette with guys. They then urinated in the toilet and put this guy's face in the toilet. They tortured almost 200-something black men over a 20-year period. The ringleader name was John Burge. All the officers was white and all the victims were black. The city of Chicago and the police department knew about the torture going on. The state's attorney's office knew that these cops was torturing people in order to obtain these confessions. They didn't care because they would use these confessions to obtain these convictions. Luckily, Governor Ryan took a strong look at the torture cases of the Death Row 10. And before he left office, he pardoned 4 members. And the next day, he gave everybody clemency. The 4 guys that Governor Ryan gave clemency to, that he pardoned based on innocence. But I stayed because I have this other folks' conviction that I'm fighting. I'm calling in to say plainly that I know personally 13 other guys that was wrongfully convicted and sentenced to death. I know many guys who have been wrongfully convicted and sentenced to prison and is out. You all in the audience probably heard these same stories